Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Peter Barber here, professional opera singer and music producer, and I just got done doing a full analysis, mostly vocal, of this incredible piece from Wicked. Absolutely stunning. Ariana, so great to hear her in this context, and Cynthia, my first time ever hearing her sing, and my goodness, what a powerhouse vocalist. Guys, please sit back, enjoy. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Alphaba, why can you stay calm for once instead of flying off the handle? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. So though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy right now.
Musical theater is so crazy. I was just listening to the chord progressions just changing so quickly, and the tempi changing so quickly, meaning like how fast the music is happening, rapidly, just on a dime. And I mean, that's part of what makes musical theater feel particularly natural, is a lot of the singing is more speech-like. It's more geared towards diction and delivering it as if you were just saying it naturally. Now, of course, it's not done naturally, right? These are trained singers. They're trained on diction and speech pattern, and of course heavily trained on singing and artistic interpretation of these characters. But just the way in which a lot of text is delivered in musical theater is much more speech-like. We get that perfectly here. I mean, and I think right at the start they did actually start out just speaking true dialogue and then getting into the singing. But I'm definitely not going to take the time to break down all these chords. A lot of chords happening very fast. Hopefully there's a channel out there that's going to do that. I'm going to talk more about the vocals.
Alphaba, why can you stay calm for once instead of flying off the handle? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
I believe that's Ariana Grande singing there, and I've never heard her in this context, although I believe she used to perform a lot of musical theater. What was it, pre Disney Channel, perhaps? Definitely am not super confident about that, but I have personally not heard her sing like this with, musical theater technique, where it's very bright and forward, again, very speech-like. It's very different from, what we've heard her doing as a solo artist. Extremely different vocal technique, where usually in her solo work, she opts for a much more kind of breathy, intimate tone, whereas musical theater, you generally want that brighter, forward, more cutting kind of tone. And yeah, truly I've never heard her sing like this.
Alphaba, why can you stay calm for once instead of flying off the handle? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. So though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy right now.
I love the contrast between, we have this big high note with a lot of vibrato, big power, and then this final note, very straight tone, very, with the intention of blending and sounding more subdued. In various online spaces, I've seen the term opera thrown around. This is not opera, guys. This is nowhere close to opera, this as a genre. Musical theater and opera are surprisingly different genres. I sing opera professionally, and I have a lot of friends who sing musical theater professionally, and our training is very different, especially vocally, how we actually sing. I think sometimes when a female singer sings a high note with vibrato, people think opera, but vibrato is by no means the only characteristic of what goes into singing like an opera singer. It's a very nuanced kind of thing. It takes time to be able to hear all the nuances in operatic technique, but it is heavily, heavily trained. It's kind of like vocal engineering, and vibrato does not mean opera. is the TLDR. So this is not opera. This is musical theater, for a bunch of reasons that perhaps I'll get into later. But all to say, a lovely high note with vibrato, followed by a cool contrasting, two-part harmony on very much straight tone.
Right now.
With a little vibrato at the end. And that's very common in musical theater, to hit a now straight tone, and then at the end of the pitch you allow vibrato to come in. That is like a staple of musical theater singing.
Elfie, listen to me. Just say you're sorry. You can still be with the wizard once you've worked and waited for. You can have all you ever wanted. I know.
That's just beautiful. Just really soft, intimate, breathy singing from Ariana. Now, in her solo work, we get a lot more of that light, breathy singing from everything I've heard, but it's still done in a different way. Like her vocal setup is a little different. She's still approaching this soft singing like a musical theater singer, not like an R&B singer or a pop singer. And there are differences there, but this is beautiful. I also love Ariana's vibrato. It's so clean and so consistent, which just means she has the kind of the right amount of air flowing and not tension holding back the vibrato. Really, to create straight tone, you actually have to induce tension into the voice to eliminate the vibrato. Vibrato is the voice in its natural state. Ironically, the hardest thing to do is sing with very perfectly even vibrato. That's what takes all the training in the world. It's like it takes training to get back to kind of nature, which is really interesting, to kind of unwork bad habits. But I love Ariana's vibrato. It's so clean and so consistent.
Once you've worked and waited for, you can have all you ever wanted.
That's just up to just a B4, so just below tenor, high C. Now, of course, this is a note that Ariana could absolutely belt or sing fully connected to her chest voice, but here she's doing it in that much lighter mechanism of singing, up in her head voice. Right, very, very light, allowing the breath to come through the sound. Not a power moment, but she could do it as a belt, no problem. On a tenor high B, no problem for Ariana Grande. Could easily sing that in her fully chest connected voice.
All you ever wanted.
I know. But I don't want it. No. I can't want it anymore.
Wow, deceptive cadence there. It sounds like it's going to a 1 major chord, but I think it goes to a minor 6. Hold on. This is a great chord progression.
I can't.
It's the bass. 2, 5, 4. Wow, that's fascinating. Beautiful resolution.
Something has changed within
A
me.
tremolo in the strings, adding some motion.
Something is not the same.
See how speech like this is? It's on pitch, but it's very speech like, is not the same. It's not like, is not the same, is not the same. So all the notes are there, but just delivered in a very natural speech-like way.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same.
Oh, the tremolo.
I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game.
Beautiful mix. High C sharp. It's high C sharp to high C. Beautifully, just absolutely threading the needle on that I mean, could be very high chest voice, or it could be a mix, but maintaining vocal fold closure, maintaining the brightness in the sound, maintaining a nice forward. In opera, we call it squillo, which means ping, which means, your voice will cut to the back of a big space. Really just lovely threading and you can tell she's threading the needle because it almost like sounds like the voice is going through a smaller space. It's not, of course. The voice is always coming from your vocal folds and being manipulated by the vocal tract, but just the right there is just absolutely beautiful.
I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game.
I think that is fully chest connected, actually.
Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try.
I'm going to find out who this singer is, Mason. Cut this. Cynthia's voice is absolutely stunning as Elphaba. I mean, she has so much squealo and cut and purity of tone in the sound, right? She can intentionally relax that to make it more speech-like, make a little more breath come through, get some of that smokier color. But for the most part, and I'm guessing for a lot of this song from here on out, is going to be, very chest-connected, pure, high vocal efficiency, high squealo singing. It's a wonderful instrument, and her vibrato also so consistent, so smooth. And as far as I can tell, her registration shifting's fantastic. Her range is fantastic. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful singer. Was not familiar with her before this.
Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
So now she's staying. She's in a mixed voice. Getting up to that E flat 5. She's staying in a mixed voice, right? And you can tell she's keeping it lighter. It's not a super weighty sound. It's not the sound of a belt up to high E flat. That's a very high belt. I think there is one in this song, an optional one, and I think even higher actually. Some Elthabas sing it even higher. You'll feel the weight of that chest connection up that high. There's no avoiding it. It sounds like a very healthy yell, which is what it is. It's a very efficient, breath-supported yell. That's what a belt is. And so she's keeping this first, introduction of the chorus in this song in that mixed voice, and she's keeping it very straight-toned, right? But I think it opens up the opportunity later for her to sing it with much more power, with much more chest connection, even with vibrato. So she's really brilliant in that performance, and where it's already exciting, but we know there's so far to go as far as how she can sing those phrases.
Can't I make you
That's nice and light.
Gravity, and you can't pull me down.
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost.
That's a hell of a voice. Man, the riffing too, the vocal control, the vocal agility, fantastic. Also, something I love about musical theater is that in these important plot developing songs and moments, musical theater writers, composers have such a way of picking up energy and steam and really driving the piece forward. That comes from key changes, that comes from tempo changes, that comes from actual motion in the instruments. Right, we get all that, not just percussively, but also in a lot of the stringed instruments, we get that kind of motion, and it just helps zoom us along in a really exciting way and continue to pull us along through this story. Fantastic. And yeah, Cynthia just absolutely smashing these vocals.
Been afraid of at a much too high cost. I'd sooner buy defying
Still keeping it light.
gravity.
Still keeping it in that.
Kiss me good, I'm defying gravity.
Oh, yeah, keeping it in that mixed place and adding some embellishments that I have not heard before. So I've of course heard this song. I don't think you can go through life without hearing this song at some point. And I did see Wicked many, many years ago on Broadway, and it was fantastic. But for all intents and purposes, this is very new to me. And so performance practices and things like that, no idea. I just kind of generally know how the song sounds. What sounded to me there was like a really cool vocal embellishment, or a riff, you might call it, from Cynthia. And you can hear her registration shift as she comes down out of that mixed voice. You hear her connect into that weightier chest voice for a hot second and then go back up.
Kiss me good, I'm defying gravity.
It's like a perfectly controlled vocal crack, essentially cracking down into the chest voice, which is really interesting.
And you can't pull me down.
Suspension.
Come with me. Think of what we could do together.
Unlimited. Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Go end our dreams the way we planned them.
If we work in tandem,
There's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I define.
Like, the musical theater has these amazing little down sections where it's just like dialogue, or it's, back to the speech-like singing. Usually there's a lot of plot development in those moments. It's where, where text is not being repeated. And the whole accompanying orchestration is just wonderful. You've got the chimes making it all magical, and you've got a lot of major 7 chords where you've got that crunch at the top of the chord, but it also sounds kind of mystical and magical. It's really just wonderful. There's such great writing in musical theater. Now, I haven't performed it hardly at all because I've very much been in the opera world, but I've always had an appreciation, especially for the songwriting in musical theater. I think these composers know how to write absolute hits. Like this one. This is an absolute hit for sure. I'm going to go back just a bit.
There's no fight we cannot win. Just you and I.
Also notice how all the instrumentation, if you're listening on studio headphones especially, you'll hear it clearly. All the instrumentation's out to the sides. So in the middle of the mix is what we call it. In the middle of our stereoscopic image, left to right. That's how the sounds are laid out, left to right. We get the voices, which is, no matter how amazing the composition is, which it is, the orchestration is what I'm talking about, the voices are always going to be the main focus. Almost in any song where voices are involved. It's the most human thing. If you're a singer, you carry your voice with you all the time. It's something that basically everybody has. Heart goes out to the people that cannot speak, for real, can't imagine not being able to use this wonderful instrument that we have. And so when someone's singing, our voice, our ears and our mind really zones in on that, no matter what else is happening. And they lean into that with the audio engineering, right? They put the instruments out here, so you still hear it clearly, you still can hear everything if you're paying attention, but right in the middle, right in your face, is the vocals. It's like halftime in the drums. Yes, give me the duet.
Gravity, they'll never bring us down.
Just a little sample of what a beautiful 2-part harmony can look like with Ariana and Symphony, and it just makes you want more. It's just wonderful.
They'll never bring us down.
C sharp. Wait. Wow, so that they went for an Aeolian cadence for a second. A major, B major, and you expect C major, but they don't go to C major. Now, Aeolian cadence is my favorite cadence in the world. Ready?
Are you coming?
Wow. Amazing.
I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this.
You too. I hope it brings you bliss.
I really hope you get it and you don't live to regret it. I hope you're
See, another just gorgeous interlude section. Just fantastic. So speech-like and so intimate. It's interesting without video. There's these very long pauses in singing where, you know, the characters are going to be looking at each other and or holding each other's hand or connecting in some way that we don't get to see. We only get to hear it through the intimacy in their voices.
and you don't live to regret it. I hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend.
We have this one section where the chimes are moving and there's all this moving instrumentation in the background, and then they have this descending phrase back down the second time they say, I hope you're happy, when all that motion stops. And then, of course, now I just heard the drums building back up, which is going to lead us presumably into the climax of the song. But it's a really cool contrast going back and forth, keeping us interested. All that motion, all of it stops.
You're happy, my friend.
No! Leave her alone! She hasn't done anything wrong! I'm the one you want! I'm the one you want! It's me!
It's me. So if you care to find me to the western sky, has someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And if I'm flying so low,
Wait. Absolutely stunning belting all the way up to F5, I think, in just a chest-connected singing. And again, the squealo, the vocal fold closure, it is such a pure tone. I mean, this is the healthiest form of yelling, for real. These are wonderful belts. They don't sound strained at all. They sound powerful and exciting, but not strained. Cynthia, hell yeah. This is fantastic singing.
chance to fly. And if I'm flying so low, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm a flying high, defying gravity. And soon I'll match the memory.
There's that high F, huge high F. Cake for Cynthia. This is really just an absolute textbook, beautiful high belting. So much control, so much ease in the sound. You might be thinking, oh, it's a studio recording, yada, yada, yada. You cannot hide everything in studio recordings, guys. You cannot edit out a lot of things. You have to nail it in the studio for it to sound truly fantastic. Especially in a genre like this, where, you know, it's not supposed to be everything's edited. Everything is absolutely edited. I'm not saying it's not edited, but it's different than editing pop music, for example. And the way you can literally hear ease in someone's voice in a studio recording. You can't take that away from it. You can't take away the weight and the amount of effort it takes to reach a note. You can't take away the vocal color. You can tune things, you can compress things. There's a lot you can do, but there's a lot you can't do. And you can tell Cynthia is very comfortable singing very, very high in her chest belt range.
Tell them how
am defying gravity. I'm a flying high, defying.
Right? It's like such a, so when you're getting up into this belt range, really high chest voice, you want to have a big mouth position, and often musical theater teachers call it the bite the apple position, where you go like that, and you feel like you're sending your sound out like through your face instead of your mouth. Of course, it's coming out through your mouth, but if you think about the sound up here, it gives it a more pointed, bright sound. Now in opera, we keep the larynx down so we get that brightness, and we still get the warmth of that. But with musical theater, it's more about that ping. It's more about just the squeal. It's the chiaro in the chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is an opera term for having both a light and a dark sound at the same time. Musical theater leans more just towards the chiaro, towards that clarity and brightness in the sound. And we get it, Cynthia's got it here just in spades. I can see her face, even though I can't. Oh my gosh, stunning, stunning. Incredible. This magical ending. Now she's up in a very light head voice, breathy, light falsetto. That's into a mix. So before she goes on, just notice the difference between those two, so just those two in a row. So she has one, and it's interesting because it's lower in her range, but she's keeping it in a very light mechanism. Then she goes up, but actually uses what would traditionally be used for a lower part of her range, that mixed belt position. She goes from the full head voice, lower, to a mixed belt position, higher. And so you feel more weight, and we get more vocal fold closure and brightness and ping in the sound as well. Okay, one before that, sorry. Super light head voice, still beautiful vibrato. Now that's into a mixed belt position. You feel the weight of that sound more.
Nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down. I hope you're happy. Bring me
What an incredible song. So for this final high belt, Cynthia puts grit into it, and you do not hear that very often in musical theater. You heard a little bit of like rock grit in there, a little bit of turbulence to the true vocal folds, not a false fold grit, a true fold grit up on these really high belts. I've never heard that before. I've certainly never heard it on this song. Or in this show, from what I can remember, or any other musical theater I've heard, that's a high gritty belt is very uncommon, I would say, in musical theater. Leave a comment if you know some other good examples of it, especially up there in the range where it has to be so threaded and so. I mean, you just have to so many things can go wrong singing in this part of your range. There's so many ways to mess it up. There's like very few ways to do it right. And so adding grit into the sound adds a whole new element of risk and chance. And another thing you have to control when singing it, you know, when you're walking a tightrope up there. Wow, fantastic. That high F again. Gritty. We were still in C sharp. You'd never know. So many chord changes. All Timpanis. Wow. It's just an amazing piece of music. Truly amazing. Wow. Shout out to Cynthia. Amazing, amazing voice. And Ariana, absolutely fantastic to hear her in this environment as well. I gotta go see the movie. Definitely gotta go see the movie. Hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown and vocal analysis of these amazing singers and this amazing music. If you did, please consider joining my Patreon community. That's the best possible way to support me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.